Imagine a giant empire, bigger than any country today, that controlled huge parts of Europe and Asia. Some people believe Tartaria was this superpower, but its story has been erased from history. Old maps show a place called Tartary, which might have been more than just a region. It could have been the heart of an amazing civilization. Tartaria might have connected different cultures and lands, creating a united world that was advanced for its time. People point to these ancient maps to prove it existed. They say the empire was peaceful and focused on making life better for everyone who lived there. But here's the big question. If it was so powerful, why don't we learn about it in school? Some think history books have been changed to hide the truth. Maybe Tartaria was erased because it challenged the stories of other empires like Rome or Britain. Then there's the architecture. Giant buildings with onion-shaped domes and perfect arches. These are found all over Europe and Asia, and some people think they were built by Tartarians. The designs are so advanced that it's hard to believe they were made so long ago. Ancient cities like Samarkand or Kazan show signs of this incredible style, with towers and walls that seem to defy the tools available at the time. Travelers who saw these places centuries ago describe them as magical and full of life, offering a glimpse into what Tartaria might have been. What if Tartaria had access to free energy, a power source that didn't need fuel? Some people believe that's exactly what happened. They say the unique buildings with tall towers and onion domes weren't just for decoration. Instead, they might have been part of a huge energy grid. This theory suggests that Tartarians used natural energy from the earth and sky. Some point to old photographs showing strange antennas and devices on buildings. These could have collected energy from the air. People think this technology was so advanced, it didn't leave behind the pollution we see today. Supporters of this idea say the buildings were carefully designed to work with the natural flow of energy. They claim that the shapes and materials weren't just artistic. They had a purpose. The spires and domes might have been part of a system that powered entire cities without wires or machines. Old world fairs and exhibitions sometimes showed incredible inventions, like wireless electricity. Some believe these displays were a glimpse of what Tartarians might have been able to do every day. The fairs might have even been used to show off what remained of this forgotten technology. Stories about energy towers, like the ones Nikola Tesla dreamed of building, are often tied to Tartaria. People imagine a time when free energy was everywhere, making life easier for everyone. These ideas make the buildings of the past seem even more mysterious. Some people believe that Tartaria disappeared because of a massive event called the Great Reset. This theory suggests that a group of powerful people erased Tartaria from history on purpose. They didn't just destroy evidence, they rewrote the story of the world to suit their goals. Supporters of this idea say the reset could have happened in the 1800s. They point to historical events like wars and natural disasters, which might have been used as cover for wiping out Tartaria. These events could have destroyed cities, records, and even memories of the civilization. Another key part of this theory is the idea of controlled education. Schools started teaching new versions of history, leaving out anything about Tartaria. Over time, people forgot it ever existed. The reset wasn't just about erasing buildings, it was about erasing the truth. Old photos and documents are often shown as evidence. Supporters say these pictures reveal advanced cities with stunning architecture. But many of the buildings are now gone. Some think they were destroyed on purpose to hide the past. Even today, people discover strange ruins and wonder if they belong to Tartaria. These hidden traces might be the only clues we have about this lost civilization and the supposed reset that buried its story. One of the most talked about theories about Tartaria is the mud flood. People believe a huge disaster buried entire cities under layers of mud. This could explain why we find buildings with windows and doors underground, as if they were swallowed by the earth. The theory suggests that the mud flood wasn't a natural disaster. Instead, it might have been caused on purpose to destroy Tartarian cities. Supporters point to old photos of buildings half buried in mud as evidence. They wonder if these disasters wiped out a great civilization. Some believe this flood happened in the 1800s, a time when many strange events were recorded around the world. They say buildings were quickly rebuilt or redesigned to hide what had been buried. In some cities, you can still see examples of mud-flooded structures today. People who study this theory also talk about the sudden rise of new powers after the mud flood. They believe other empires took over the land that once belonged to Tartaria. This could explain why Tartaria disappeared so completely from history. Walking through old cities, you might notice things that don't add up. Stairs leading to nowhere or buildings with strange layouts could be signs of what's buried beneath. These oddities keep the mystery of Tartaria alive. Some people believe the grand world fairs of the 19th and early 20th centuries were more than just celebrations of progress. These events might have been used to show off what was left of Tartaria's technology and culture. The buildings, exhibits, and inventions seemed almost too advanced for their time. Supporters of this theory point to the size and detail of the fairgrounds. Cities like Chicago and Paris hosted massive fairs with breathtaking architecture that looked like ancient palaces. Some wonder if these structures were actually Tartarian buildings that had survived the mud flood. Many of the buildings were torn down right after the fairs ended. This has led people to believe there was a plan to destroy any evidence of Tartaria. Why else would such beautiful and advanced structures be demolished so quickly? The inventions displayed at these fairs also spark curiosity. Wireless electricity, advanced transportation, and other futuristic technologies were showcased. Some think these were remnants of Tartarian knowledge, shared briefly before being lost again. Even today, old photos of the fairs raise questions. The massive structures and mysterious devices seem out of place for their time, leaving people to wonder if they were part of a hidden past we've forgotten. A strange part of history involves the orphan trains of the 19th and early 20th centuries. These trains carried thousands of children across the United States and Europe, resettling them in new homes. Some people believe these orphans were survivors of Tartaria, displaced by the collapse of their civilization. The theory suggests that after Tartaria fell, its people were scattered. Orphan trains might have been a way to hide this, rehoming children while erasing their cultural identities. These children were said to have no records or memories of their origins, adding to the mystery. Supporters point to old photos of the children, dressed in clothes that seem out of place for their time. They wonder if these orphans came from advanced cities destroyed by events like the mud flood or the Great Reset. Could they have been the last witnesses of Tartaria's fall? Another strange detail is how quickly these orphan trains appeared and disappeared. It's as if they were part of a larger plan designed to resettle people and cover up the past. The sudden rise of adoption programs also raises questions about what happened to Tartaria's population. While the idea is controversial, it makes people question why so many children were relocated in such a short time. If Tartaria truly existed, the orphan trains might hold a hidden piece of its story, waiting to be uncovered. Theories about Tartaria often focus on its supposed technology. Some believe it was far ahead of its time, using methods and machines that we still can't understand today. These advanced technologies might explain how the civilization thrived and built its cities. One example is the idea of free energy. Supporters think Tartaria harnessed natural power sources like atmospheric electricity. They point to designs in old buildings, saying the spires and domes were part of this energy system. Another theory involves transportation. People believe Tartarians may have had airships or other advanced vehicles. Old drawings and photos sometimes show strange machines in the sky, which some think are proof of lost technology. Tartarian cities are also said to have been incredibly advanced. Their layouts might have used geometric patterns to maximize efficiency and harmony. People wonder if the civilization was designed with technology that allowed it to thrive without pollution or waste. Even though much of this technology is said to be lost, supporters believe traces of it remain. From mysterious ruins to strange artifacts, These pieces of the past keep the story of Tartaria alive. One theory suggests that the history of Tartaria was erased by removing or altering its records. People believe books, documents, and other evidence of the civilization were either destroyed or rewritten to fit a different narrative. This might explain why there's little mention of Tartaria in modern history books. Supporters of this idea often point to old encyclopedias and atlases. In some versions, Tartaria is described as a vast region or even a powerful empire. But in later editions, it's reduced to a vague or forgotten place. The changes seem intentional, leaving questions about what was removed and why. Some believe that Tartarian records were hidden away in secret archives. These records might still exist, locked in libraries or private collections. Stories about lost books or stolen artifacts fuel the idea that someone wanted Tartaria's history to disappear. Even ancient ruins and monuments might hold clues about this erased history. Supporters think that carvings, symbols, and inscriptions on buildings could reveal stories about the civilization, if only they were studied more closely. The theory makes people wonder how much of the past has been altered. If Tartaria's history was removed, it could mean other parts of history have also been rewritten to hide the truth. Another theory suggests that Tartaria was linked to giants, literal giants. Some people believe the civilization was home to a race of tall, powerful beings who played a major role in its success. Old legends, artwork, and even buildings are often used to support this idea. Supporters say the architecture of Tartaria might have been designed for giants. Large doorways, tall ceilings, and massive structures found in ancient buildings seem too big for normal-sized people. Could they have been built for a much taller population? Old stories from different cultures mention giants, describing them as rulers, warriors, or builders. Some believe these tales are connected to Tartaria, suggesting the civilization might have included or been led by these giant figures. There are even claims of giant skeletons being discovered in different parts of the world. Supporters of this theory think these remains could belong to Tartarian giants, though many of these finds are said to have been covered up. From towering buildings to ancient myths, the idea of giants adds an exciting twist to the Tartaria mystery. If true, it would change the way we think about human history and what civilizations were capable of. Tartaria is sometimes believed to have been far ahead in the field of medicine. Supporters of this theory think the civilization had advanced knowledge about healing, using natural remedies and techniques that were far beyond their time. Old texts and drawings hint at practices that might have originated in Tartaria. Some believe they had cures for diseases that are still challenging today. This advanced medical knowledge could have allowed Tartaria to thrive and grow stronger as a civilization. Another part of the theory involves their use of energy in medicine. Some people think Tartarians understood how to use energy fields to heal the body. Buildings with domes and spires might have been part of this, acting as centers for health and well-being. Supporters also look at old remedies and healing traditions passed down through generations. They believe these might be fragments of Tartaria's medical wisdom, preserved in secret or disguised as folklore. If Tartaria truly had advanced medicine, it could explain why the civilization was so successful. Its people might have lived longer, healthier lives, giving them an edge over other cultures of their time.